Hey, what's up guys, Damien here. So it's May 2018, but the video I'm about to show you was actually recorded in June 2017. I'm very sorry for taking this long to put it out. I've been mentioning it for a while. This is my new build, was new build for my friend Brandon. It's basically my e-bike if I were to redesign it. I kept it under 3,000. I think the total build was about 2,700. So you'll be able to see what $2,700 gets you if you know how to choose your components wisely. I will say that I truly believe this bike is the cream, like it's the very tippy top of the technology to date in terms of commuting and just overall efficiency. It's amazing. It's perfect. I hope you enjoy it. I know he's had tons of fun riding it this year. It has like 700 miles on it. He's not a commuter, like daily commuter like I am, but so he's just been riding it recreationally. Yeah, if you have any questions about the build, or if you any comments, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to. I try to respond to comments as regularly as possible about builds and stuff. I don't feed trolls, but if you have a legitimate comment or whatever, then I really do try to respond and help people out with their builds. I have some other videos coming up. My bike's awesome. I'm actually around 17,000 miles now, so I was gonna do a 15,000 mile update. Now I'm gonna do a 17,000 or maybe even 18,000, depends on when I get to it. But I had this really cool idea for a series that I've been wanting to do for a while, because a lot of people have been asking about like ride videos, and it's really hard because normally I'm not prepared for that, and like weather has been a major factor over the winter time, because it's just you never know what Portland's gonna do, and a lot of times it's raining and stuff. Basically, I've got the series planned. I do mostly freelance work for like event production, like camera and audio and video and just all of it. So I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that while commuting by e-bike, because normally they're required you have a car and you're transporting gear around or whatever. So it's been really, I do feel fortunate that I'm in the position I am, to where I can travel around and I'm used for my expertise versus my gear carrying skills. So yeah, I've got a lot of really cool places that I go now, and it would be cool to show you some of the rides that I go on and just show you that you can totally do it. You can totally commute. I travel all over Portland, Hillsborough, outlying areas. I'm just at a point to where I am trying to get back into making videos again, and this is the one that I've been just holding on to for so long, and I know that everyone has been waiting for this video because I've mentioned it like for a while now. So I really do apologize. I promise it's worth it. This bike is amazing. Please subscribe, leave a like, comment if you want to. Have a great day. Good luck on your build. Cheers.
Alright, so this is what we've got so far. We've got the Cycle Analyst 3 mounted up here on the handlebars, just screwed on. Haven't done the handlebar work yet, so we'll get to that in a minute. This is the motor controller mounted to a tube here with just one of the bottle gauge mounts below it. That is holding down the bottom, and then basically I'll have a zip tie up here at the top, just through those guys. I've already kind of routed some of the cabling. I'm sorry that I didn't film that part, but it really is just kind of trial and error, so I wanted to make sure I got it right and had a really good idea before I started filming. There's only a few wires coming out of this. There's a couple up here, one for the Cycle Analyst listed right there. There's one for the e-brake, one for the throttle. And then there's one that goes to the motor. So the motor goes up this way, routed into this bag here. There's actually, there's nothing, I just can't even see in there anyway. There's nothing in the bag. Basically, it's just the wire ran up, and the extra wire is going to be up there. And I'll have this fastened down here, probably with one of these guys. It's a Velcro like cover. I'll show you what's under that in a second. But yeah, so the wire comes up, goes up there, comes back down, and connects up to the motor right here. The motor came from Grin Technologies, and the rim came from Luna-Cycle. And then Brian at Stoic Wheels laced the rear wheel as well. And over here is another Alex DM24 rim, also laced with a Shimano Dior hub. So that's gonna basically give him matching front and rear wheels, which is sweet. They both have 12 gauge spokes, so they're gonna be strong as all else. This is the new Sine Wave. It's the 40 amp controller by Grin Technologies. It's basically an Infineon controller, but grinified. Got a on-off switch here at the bottom. The battery has an on-off switch as well, so there's two ways to turn this on and off, but I've already got this hooked up, so put the battery on. Of course, battery's dead, but yeah, have to program the cycle analyst still, haven't done yet, but it does officially turn so far. So that's always a plus right off the bat. I did notice that when I plugged in, if I plug in the brakes, or sorry, the throttle to the controller by itself without the cycle analyst, it has a lot more torque. So I know the cycle analyst right now is applying more of like a smoothing to that. I'm gonna probably adjust that a bit to still give it a little bit more torque. But yeah, I'm gonna basically, instead of running the throttle to the controller, obviously, I'm just gonna run the throttle and the brakes and everything to the cycle analyst right there. Has its own connections. Oops. So everything will just kind of be bundled here. Also probably using one of those Velcro straps. And it'll basically just have one wire running to the back. So let's move on to the battery. You're probably looking at this and going, why is it mounted upside down? Well, that's a good question, because I did try to do that. It obviously does work. The locking mechanism on this guy, I mean, this thing is really, really in there. That's not my issue. And also, I'm not keeping it this way. My issue with this setup, in my opinion, having the pedals be right where the XLR connector to charge it is, I worry that if the bike were to fall down and the pedals spun, that would could possibly break that connection. So I'm not happy with this particular setup. Plus, you can see, let's see, the USB port right there. Let me bring the pedal up. Pedal is also really close, or at least your foot would be really, really close to the USB port. So you basically can't have anything plugged in while you're riding. So, not the final result. So that's again why I kind of just like started to lay things out and see how it was going to fit. So now you're wondering, okay, so what are you going to do? Well, there's a company in Australia that makes like an anodized aluminum adapter for the bottle cage mounts. So the bottle cage, the reason why it's upside down is because the bottle cage mounts are like way down here. The mounts on the battery mount are also like right there. So if I flip the battery around, it doesn't give me enough room down here, so I can only really attach it with one hole, with one screw, which is obviously not ideal. And then also it kind of still hits the controller, so I'm not happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that little adapter, screw that into the bottle cage mounts, which then kind of sticks up about this far, and that'll allow me, basically, the battery will be in the exact same position it is now, but it's going to be flipped. It might come down even just a little bit lower than it is, just so that it has room to pop out, but that's what I'm going to do. So, and then we've got a big box of parts here. Got some removable rain guards. Oh, what else? I already put on we put on a 6-speed freewheel and I'm going to be switching out the trigger shifters for twist shifters, but then we bought 6-speed. Bought 6-speed shifters, twist shifters. So it's going to basically look, hopefully this focuses because it's kind of dark. I still have 7-speed on mine, but I also have a 6-speed freewheel. But yeah, they'll basically look like this. Alright, so we're at Stoic Wheels and got my bike up on the stand. Brian here just rebuilt my wheel. How's it going, man?
Doing good.
Awesome, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So it looks like this is the wheel we have here.
It sure is.
Very nice. Said that, so you drilled out the eyelets to make 12-gauge spokes fit?
Yeah.
Cool. And we'll come back in a little while to check on that just to make sure everything's golden. And you built Brandon's wheels. That's the video this is going in. So you built a couple wheels for him as well.
Uh-huh.
And so more or less my hub motor was similar. Was it, you said it was 232 millimeter?
232, yeah.
Okay, so the 9 Continent is 233, I believe. Pretty close. Do you think, like, you would, like, in terms of spoke, a millimeter is adjustable, do you think, within?
Yeah, it depends on where it comes out. Sometimes they come out in the middle, and with something with a larger flange, you would definitely want to probably round down with that, so you'd end up with too long of a spoke.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. And there was no offset, so on both sides, each spoke is the same, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Cool. And then, so let's see. So when did you start with this company?
I started this company in February of 2016, and before that, I was doing wheels with another company for about 10 years.
Oh, that's one. So you have like tons of experience.
Yeah, I was building my own wheels and doing bike polo wheels for about 3 years before that, and
nice.
Then, yeah, so I've got about almost 15 years of experience.
Well, it shows, man. So this is, the reason why I had the wheel rebuilt in the first place is my old rim. Do you still have that here?
Yes.
So my old rim has this. Basically, just as he said, he was saying that when the wheels start to wear out, basically you have a wear line, and that wear line makes basically the wheel kind of spread, right? Is that basically what happens?
Yeah, with the pressure of the tire. Once this gets thin, the pressure of the tire forces that aluminum outwards.
Yeah.
And then you end up with stuff like this where it cracked, and that one happened right at the seam, but you can see on the inside where it was. Right where it was happening, and that's where they do that wear line on the side of them.
Okay.
Is right at the top of the pins.
Gotcha. All right, sweet. So that's the reason why I had to rebuild. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had to. Because the difference between the spokes that came on my kit and the ones that you put on there, I mean, they were bulletproof. It was a huge difference, like just night and day difference. So that's really cool. Like, yeah, it's awesome that the rim wore out. I mean. Versus the spokes, so yeah, definitely trust you for that type of thing. Cool. So I guess yeah, we'll get this put back on. But before I go on this, you were telling me that you had been developing like
Yes, I've been working with another company to develop a spoke prep, and it's called Spoke Dope. And it's we're gonna do it under the Stoic Wheels name, so it'll be Stoic Wheels Spoke Dope.
Okay.
And it is a spoke prep for the threads on the end of the spokes, between the interface of the spokes and the spoke threads and the nipple threads.
Okay.
And there's a few manufacturers, but what ours does is it hardens up a little harder. It's not as gummy after it cures, and so it keeps the nipple a little. It's a little less likely to move.
Okay.
Than the competitors are.
Okay, so something that people might be familiar with would be like Loctite, but this is like far superior in every single way.
Yeah, Loctite's typically not something that you want to put on a thread if you ever want to move it again. So eventually this is going to need to be retrued. Okay. And so you want something that's a little more malleable so that you can true it and it's not just falling apart in there, it's actually moving with the threads.
Sure.
And conforming to its new position.
Right. So yeah, because Loctite would be like plastic, like you said. So basically,
Yeah,
once it
Loctite
breaks,
will
then
break
it's
down.
just-
Yeah.
It's done working after that point.
Yeah, at that point it creates like a mechanical lock, but it's still not. That's not what you're looking for.
Okay. Awesome. Right on. Well, cool. Yeah, I appreciate all your work every time, and this is the gentleman to go to. So as far as other like services that people would, I mean, you know, some of my audience obviously is going to be like out of the states or even just in different states. But you like cut spokes to length.
Yeah, we do custom cut on 12 or 13 gauge, black or silver.
Okay.
And then we have spoke nipples to go with it, and we do ship as well.
Okay. And then you said that this compound's going to be available in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're hoping to have this on the shelf within a couple weeks. Yeah.
Sweet. Right on. Well, you guys
Yeah.
look for that, and yeah, I'll get this put on. And thanks a lot for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so this is the final bike reveal. It's all done. It's on the stand. Got all the cases on. Powered up, charged up. So let's move from the front to the back. So this is a built wheel with an Alex DM24 rim. So it's a little bit wider than normal, but basically laced with 12 gauge spokes by Stoic Wheels from Brian. My go-to wheel guy. It's got a Shimano Dior hub. And then we've got Cycle Analyst version 3. I haven't peeled the tape off because I don't want him to do that since it's his bike. We switched this from a 21 speed to an 18 speed because the freewheel, the top and bottom gears are the same, so it's a 11 to 30 something, doesn't matter. Same gearing as it had, just has one less gear, but we don't shift anyway, so it doesn't matter. On the back we've got a 9 Continent Plus 2707. It's the newest version. The upgrades that they've made are that you can see the cable comes out the side like this, so you're able to attach a rear trailer if you want to. All the wiring is on the inside, so you don't have to worry about that. Basically the same as mine, but we ordered the motor separate from the rim. It's also an Alex DM24. Laced by Stoic Wheels. My tent's in the background, sorry. We used cable wrap. This is the cable wrap just for the connectors. All the connectors are right here, so keep it nice and tidy. And then we're going to the motor controller, which is a 40 amp Grinfinion sine wave controller. It's totally silent. The only thing you can hear is the freewheel when it's clicking. Otherwise, it's absolutely 100% silent. There's no growl at all when it starts up. This is a 48 volt, 17.5 ampere battery, bottle cage mount. That was the hardest part. Had to kind of finagle a couple of adapters to get the bottle cage mounts high enough for me to be able to mount the battery. And it is technically touching the controller, but it does kind of provide some support as well, which is actually kind of nice. The electrical tape here is just to hold like a little foamy piece under here so that the bottle cage or the battery mount does not hit the little bottle cage nut here. Doesn't make any noise. I'm trying to make it as silent as I can. So now he has access to the USB port right there, and the charge port is now on the top up here, so no worries about hitting the pedals if it gets tipped over. It's a Trek 820, my preferred bike. Kept the stock tires and stock tubes. For now we're going to keep the stock brakes because might as well just run through those pads. these brakes are actually pretty solid. I might even convince him just to take back the Avid single-digit 7s because I don't know if they're necessary or not. So I have all the Cycle Analyst stuff wired up here. It's nice and tidy underneath the handlebars. I used a cable wrap, coil cable wrap, to go along the frame here. That's only housing the thermal cable to monitor the temperature of the motor, as well as the Cycle Analyst cable that runs back to the back here. All the connectors are within this guy here. They're all waterproof connectors. This is just kind of more for like style. What else? So I did extend. So this power cable comes up to here, and this is a Anderson connector, and then it runs up the frame back to the back here to this bag. I mean, the only thing in this bag is like extra cabling, but I just put a Anderson connector here with a clip, so it'll hold that in place. But basically all he has to do is just take that clip out, unplug these, plug in his Luna-Cycle tire pump, and he can just pump up his tires without even having to pump it all, which is pretty sweet. Otherwise this bag is useless, so he can just use it for, you know, putting tools in or whatever he wants to. We installed a Blackburn bag just like mine for the handlebars. He'll be able to put his tools in here or whatever else he wants. Still leaves ample room for the cell phone holder. Clips in. Can still read his Cycle Analyst up here if he wants to. Probably won't have to look at that too much. Got his light here, got the brakes aligned. Mirror, Cycle mirror, just like mine, or Miracle mirror. We put the, these are actually removable. So this rain guard, you can just hit this button back here and then just pop it right out. Back one is the same way, just a Velcro strap, has a clip around here, and you just flip that and take it right off. Don't have to use it unless you don't want to. I would suggest leaving it on, might as well. But yeah, pretty tidy wiring in my opinion. This is definitely my favorite project. This is like my bike if I were to redesign it. So if you were to take my bike, you know, the only things I would do differently is I do enjoy the bottle cage battery, but yeah, you have to use these adapters. I did find the best way of doing that. It's really hard to put that in a video, but it's more or less just kind of just playing around and trying to find the right way. But it's super sturdy. I mean, it's mounted, you know, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, 40 amp controller, has the on-off switch under here, so you have the battery on-off switch, and then you have the controller on-off switch here, so double. Plus of course you have the, you know, emergency power cutoff in the trunk bag. Yeah, overall, man, this bike is amazing. This bike is so fast, or so torquey. Like it's the same speed as mine. Mine's a 52 volt, 17.5 amp hour, 26 amp hour, or 26 amp controller. His is a 48 volt, 17.5 amp hour, 40 amp controller. So it's about the same speed, top speed. Say flat ground, no pedaling, is 28 miles an hour. Way more torque though, so it definitely like just gets up and goes. I almost feel like I don't have to pedal at all. It feels weird to pedal, whereas on my bike, I normally pedal up to speed. So yeah, overall, man, this bike looks badass. So I hope this helped you guys. I'm going to try to compile all this footage into one video, so hopefully you've seen everything that I've done so far and it's helped you in some way. But I'm going to call this project done. So this is basically a 3-day project. So one day was like fitment, kind of adjusting things, moving things around, seeing where I wanted them. Second day was kind of putting things in place, getting them all ready to go. And then I spent about 2 weeks waiting for an adapter for the bottle cage. And otherwise, yeah, this is a 3-day project. Third day, just finalizing stuff, installing the shifters and all that stuff. So, I mean, you can do this in 1 day for sure, but you know, when it comes down to planning and figuring out what you want to do, sometimes you run into hiccups and you just have to go with that. So, I know he's happy. He's going to pick it up tomorrow night and ride home. I'm going to cruise with him down to the river about halfway, just kind of send him off. But I think he's going to be super happy with this. It's an amazing bike. So good. So good. Everything about it, everything just came together. Man, it took a lot of trial and error, but you know, that's just how it comes, you know. Can't avoid it. DIY. Oh yeah. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps. This is where my mom totally ate shit on this other e-bike that I built, the blue one. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It had like a half twist throttle on it, and she like went to get off the bike and like pulled on the thing, and it just took off, and she was afraid of like dropping it, so she just kind of like held on and it just pulled her to the ground.
Oh no, I bet that hurt.
Yeah, I guess it like pulled a muscle. Luckily she took it pretty well considering her age, but I was like, who gives a fuck about the bike? Next time you do.
I guarantee anything that breaks on the bike will be way cheaper than anything that breaks on you.
No doubt. Like, I mean, you know, people don't really fully comprehend that they're pretty powerful machines for what they are.
Oh.
They've got enough torque to where, I mean.
They are highly underestimated. I underestimated it until I rode yours.
I
got on mine.
I dumped the bike in the exact same way at a convenience store, but I just let it go because I'm like, screw that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't like that twist. I mean, I do on a dirt bike, but even then, I don't know anymore. I think it'd still be that way for a dirt bike.
Yeah.
These rocks are jagged, dude.
The rocks are almost, like, it's not only the whole way. Oh, okay. Like, luckily it's not too bad.
I'm pretty sure mine are gonna deflate on their own, so I'm good. Mine have, like, natural territory change.
Yeah. Oh, this is nothing, dude. You don't need full suspension for this trail. I mean, come on. This is like... No, you'd be surprised, dude. They're a really simple machine, so... And if anything, that wheel is actually more durable because it has smaller spokes. Like, the length is smaller, so it's more strong.